guys, welcome back. Recently been here with Pursuing the Arts, and we are going to do a review on these axes. You guys saw in our last video, we were working through Le Jeu de la Hache, the play of the axe, and we had tried out these variations of axes from Helge's Armor Shop. So we're going to talk a little bit about some of the pros and some of the cons of what we liked about them, and give you our overall impressions of them.
In Fiori and several other treatises, you see this style of axe, just a little beck, a maul, a dag, no rondelle, on a decent length haft. And I know these from Helge's are sold as a Lucerne hammer, which you do see that in a in what's later 15th century, where they have a little short hammer, and it's possible that those were cut down or broken halves, or you know, even that somebody developed a style for fighting with those.
Yeah. Oddly enough, in the treatise Le Jeu de la Hache, they refer to them as axes. You see a variety of axes with the axe heads, with the maul, the hammer. You see one's the hammer with the back spike, and they're just referred to as axes, oddly enough. So.
But from the time period that we're focused on most, it seems to be that this is the type of axe that you see the most common for that time period.
But yeah, we played with these for several weeks now, and there's lots of things we do like about them. So we're going to kind of go through some of the pros and cons now, the specs and stuff.
Pros and cons, specs. Comparison to the old axes, that axe is 4 pounds. That one and the Purple Hearts actually weigh the same, but the weight distribution is different. With this axe is 3 pounds, so we're a whole pound lighter, and that whole pound is missing out of, mostly out of the head, because this has got a lot more bulk to it overall. And honestly, the 3 pounds makes it kind of nice. That does come into one of the pros that we've got going on here.
Also slightly into the con.
Slightly into the con as well. It's light, so you have a really low energy transfer. You get a nice, sharp, crisp impact, not a dull thud. And there's a difference in causes of concussion. It's been shown that high-frequency impacts to your brain don't tend to cause traumatic brain injury as easily as a low-frequency impact. Think the difference between treble and bass. Bass, you know, vibrates and shakes everything, and trebles, you can hear it, but it's annoying, but it's not real deep and penetrating. You don't hear treble inside your house where bass shakes all your windows and all the stuff on the walls. And the impact does the same thing. When you get a sharp, crisp, high frequency impact, you know, you hear it, it rattles your head a little bit, but overall the shock wave doesn't penetrate as deep. When you catch that really hard, deep, low frequency impact, your brain shakes around like, you know, like bass rattle in your windows. It jiggles a bowl of jelly,
yeah,
and it can cause a traumatic brain injury. So for our purposes and longevity in doing this, it's better for us to not, you know, create cumulative brain injuries, which is a definite concern for, you know, any kind of sport where you hit each other in the head repeatedly.
Yeah, it's a historical thing, but we don't want to recreate that so much. But
so is dying of disease.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I had there's a part where the day where Ben just did some strikes against me. So he did some using the maul, using the back, strike me in the head. He also hooked me with the back. You would think with this small of a beak with this guy, and the hammer doesn't come out very much, but it doesn't take apparently a whole lot to hook with. So he was able to hook me in my head pretty well. Got caught. It actually bit into my male aventail pretty well, and took me with it. He also hooked the back of my leg, and this doesn't feel as pleasant, but these do come more rounded than the axes we had before. So if you guys recall our last video, the first Le Jeu de la Hache video with the plays, I actually hooked the back of Ben's leg with the axe head, and his leg bruised up pretty well for a good week and a half or so. So, but I'm happy to say that I do not have any bruising. So, with these, so yeah, so that's a plus. Then we got to we tried to experiment with the thrusting with the dag. This is probably our only complaint, is that this dag it's not as stout or stiff as the previous one. And this one has, as you'll see in the footage here, you'll see Ben, he's able to show just how flexible it is. Now, with proper structure, we found it works to a degree, but we'd really prefer to have something like the older one. It's just, let's see, we pulled in here. It's real thick. It's real stout. I mean, just pushing that on there, it's not really going anywhere.
You can definitely feel that when you're being stabbed with it through mail.
Yeah. So, and we want to have it to where we can feel what's happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we want it to hurt just enough that you know that you're getting stabbed and you get a response from it, as opposed to just having to call a shot because you're set there and you know the person may not feel like it's getting stabbed.
But yeah, so playing with them for a couple weeks now, really quite like them for the most part. That's really the big complaint, I would say, with just that dag, how flexible it is.
They're holding up well.
They're holding up well. The finish, these ones here, they came silver, this paint silver. The previous ones were black, and we painted those, and you know, over time, just from use, they flaked off, they scratched up, or whatever. But these are holding up pretty darn well. So
yeah, they come out of the box with, and they're very silver, and we can't really say for sure because I didn't ask, but I think it's painted. It might be whatever they're using for mold release when they do make them, but I'm assuming it's painted because it's wearing off, but the plastic underneath is a silver gray-ish color, so you can't hardly tell the difference when it's wearing off. It's just not quite as bright silver. It's kind of a gray color, which is great because it still looks like metal. So you get a better, you know, more historic look than a black, you know, Poleaxe head. So you get a lot better look to it. And let's face it, you know, looks are important.
oh yeah, yeah, it look cool. Gotta have look at the axe.
It's surprising the comments we get when you're using them. People see it and they're like, "Are you hitting each other with real axes?
Oh yeah,
metal axes?" Like, no, they're not metal.
People think we're kind of crazy. They're like, "Oh my God, you guys are using real stuff?" I'm like,
No.
yes, we are."
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the finish a lot better than the previous ones. Having the silver option is a huge plus for us, at least.
The only real con on the other side, which we touched on with the high frequency impact of these and the lightness. The con to that is it doesn't feel like a real axe. You don't have that one-ended weight, you know, swinging around, which gives you, you know, more sense of how the actual axe plays. Now, is that super critical? I don't know. It's still slower, you know, because it's got more mass on that end. You're obviously not wailing around the amount of weight, but the way Lejeune plays, you're not swinging an axe around like a
wild man.
You know, like a wild man anyway. Most every strike you do is controlled. It's explosive from one position to another, and you know it doesn't matter if the axe is heavy or light. It's going to affect obviously your speed a little bit, but ultimately you could train, you know, all day long with these things, wail on each other, do your stuff, and then if you were ever handed a real axe and expected to do the same thing, you might find a few things are slightly off or your timing's slightly different because the weight of the weapon is going to slow you down, but I think you'd still be just as effective at fighting with it. And so I think it's a very good training tool for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's really good for, like, you know, understanding the basics, the fundamentals, the positions and such. With these, and they're pretty inexpensive. Like we talked about the 2x2 wood. 2x2 wood, you get the hardware store, pretty cheap, pretty readily available, and slap a head on it, and then you're good to go. Yep. So, but yeah, in the future we'll be getting some real legit pole axes and axes, and you know, just do kind of a comparison what we from training with these and using those. So we won't be probably using them on each other, but probably doing strikes and stuff. But
yeah, you could demo it, and you could do your wide swings and your non-committed movements, you know, and play with a real axe. But if you actually committed to any of the technique and connected, you'd probably end your friend pretty quickly with it,
yeah.
Which is the point of an axe.
Yeah, these are popular for a reason among the armored elite, as it were. So these work quite well, really effective, and you know, you don't need a whole lot of hammer or beck to get a job done. Yep. So
the lightweight part is also really good for competitive environments. like at a deed of arms when people are, you know, you're competitively trying to go at each other. Safety wise, two people can go at each other without getting amped up and cranking on something. You could probably do light play, you know, with a metal axe as long as you pulled shots and were careful. But if you get in a competitive environment, even the Purple Hearts tend to cause concussions and.
Yeah, it's hard to control when you get a weight on that thing, and you know you train and train and train, and then you know once adrenaline starts kicking in, and you're like that starts kind of going out the window more or less. So what's nice is that these are like an equal playing field. So if you got someone who swings really hard, you got someone who doesn't swing so hard, and it doesn't really matter with these guys. So that's an advantage that we found with these, and we've got some friends that hit pretty hard, and they gave us a good walloping, and we didn't, you know, leave and say like, oh man, my head hurts and my teeth are cracked or whatever.
Yeah. What day is it?
So yeah, what day is it? So, yeah, overall, guys, I think these are really cool. We quite liked them a lot, and you guys will see some footage of us doing some freebouting with these. It was the summer. It's the height of the summer, so it's might be breathing or
it's been the high 80s.
High 80s and stuff. So we're out there in harness because we're stupid and we're dedicated. So I like to think we're dedicated, but you guys will see some of the footage now. Alright guys, that concludes the video. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. Special thanks to our Patreon supporters for making the channel happen. Your donations allow us to get products like these to review them and give you guys more content. So thank you very much. And here soon in September we've got another event going on.
It is the Chivalric Fighting Arts Symposium and Passage of Arms. It is brought to us by the Companions of the Seven Swords and is hosted by the Medieval Swordsman Guild of Kansas City. This is going to take place September 7th through the 9th. It's a multi-day symposium. It's going to have many classes by instructors, armored fighting focused classes. It's going to have different presentations, probably some, I know there's going to be an adjudication class teaching how to judge armored fighting. Have workshops, everything else. It is at a bed and breakfast place. So it's more of a modern type of event where people, you don't have to be in period gear and all that stuff, other than your armor if you want to wear armor for the parts. The Passage of Arms part is a period-based Passage of Arms, so they expect you to be, all the guys fighting will obviously be in their harness, so you'll look the part anyway. But it'll have all the pageantry involved, where they're going to bring out banners and processions and you know, make a big spectacle out of it the way it would have been done in the Middle Ages, and then everybody's going to fight their hardest to show their art. And there'll be a lot of skill there because there's a lot of instructors and people that do this, a lot. So
yeah, a lot of big guys from around the country, like Scott Farrell will be there teaching a workshop. Bob Charette will be there teaching some things. So what's cool is that this is a strictly armored combat symposium. So it's going to be a wealth of information, and we'll be there. Covering the event. We're going to get some interviews, hopefully with Scott and Bob, covering the event. And what's great is, in the past we've done Days and Nights, we've done the Deed of Arms, the Deed of the Swan Knight, the last one we did. It was a living history type event. So this one here, we just focus on the art entirely, and it's going to be in a hotel. We have hot tubs, so there's a pool. Yep. We can chill out and afterwards and drink a beer.
Nothing will feel better than a hot tub after harness.
Yeah. So we're really excited to be a part of this, and we're really excited to learn some more things and bring you guys along for the ride. So
yeah, if you think, if anybody are familiar with what WMAW is, which is a Western Martial Arts Workshop, this is going to be kind of like a Western Martial Arts Workshop, except it's a, you know, chivalric fighting arts symposium, so it's based on the armored combat more than anything. So it's kind of a departure of that concept. It's more for people that are into the you know, the armored fighting, which is that's our jam.
it's our jam, yeah. So harness festin. So, but yeah, guys, we will put the information down below in the description, so you guys can check it out. Be sure to register. I believe they got a deal going on with that hotel for rooms, but they're going quickly. So be sure you sign up for it. And we hope to see some new people there, and we look forward to seeing you guys next video. So take care.